Hello and welcome. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India, India's voice to the world. This is Express News. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Let's start with the top story. Campaigning ends on Wednesday for the second phase of voting in India's parliamentary elections, which will cover 88 constituencies across 13 states. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi held an election rally in the central state of Chhattisgarh on Wednesday. India's Home Minister Amit Shah campaigned in southern Indian state of Kerala on Wednesday and is in Varanasi and will inaugurate BJP's central election office in the city during his two-day visit to Uttar Pradesh. Senior BJP leader and party president JP Nadda held a public rally in Bhagalpur, Bihar. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi addressed public rallies in western state of Maharashtra on Wednesday. Public rallies were held by Biju Janata Dal Party President and Odisha's Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik in his home constituency in Hinjli on Wednesday. Bharat Rashtra Samiti President K. Chandrasekhar Rao also held an election campaign in Telangana's Nalgonda on Wednesday. Chairman of Indian Overseas Congress Sam Pitroda stirred controversy as he backed the Congress stand on wealth redistribution and advocated an inheritance tax law in the country. Emphasizing the need for policy towards wealth redistribution, Pitroda quoted America's inheritance tax and said the subject of wealth distribution is strictly a policy issue. BJP's IT department head Amit Malviya criticized Sam Pitroda's remarks, accusing Congress of intending to harm India. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge distanced the party from Pitroda's statement and said his party has no intention of implementing any such unconstitutional tax law. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the 6th International Conference on Disaster Resilient Infrastructure in New Delhi on Wednesday. PM Modi drew attention to the impact of natural disasters on humans and advocated for investment in resilient infrastructure for a better tomorrow. Indian President Draupadi Murmu attended a convocation ceremony at a Forest Service Training Institute in Dehradun on Wednesday. Indian Army Vice Chief Lieutenant General Upendra Dwivedi visited various production facilities in Kanpur as part of interactions with the defence production ecosystem. An encounter between terrorists and security forces occurred in Jammu and Kashmir's Bandipora district on Wednesday. India successfully test-fired a new variant of a medium-range ballistic missile capable of striking targets at distances exceeding 250 kilometers. 22 cybersecurity companies from India are taking part in the Gulf Information Security Expo and Conference 2024 in Dubai. India's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ruchira Kamboj, highlighted the country's digital-first approach in an op-ed ahead of the UN conclave on digital public infrastructure. Kamboj also noted India's tax revenue to GDP ratio, which increased from 8.2% to 17.1% as digital payments reduced leakages in government transfers. The CEO of JP Morgan Chase & Company, Jamie Dimon, has lauded India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his achievements and an unbelievable job in uplifting India. After opening in green, Indian benchmark indices ended trade in positive territory on Wednesday. Sensex closed 114 points higher at 73,852. Nifty closed 34 points higher at 22,402. Indian rupee rose 2 paise to 83.29 against the US dollar in early trade on Wednesday. Gold future maturing on 5th June stood at Rs 70,820 per 10 grams on Multi Commodity Exchange of India Limited. Silver futures maturing on 3rd May stood at Rs 80,464 per kg on the MCX. Oil prices steadied above $88 per barrel on Wednesday after rallying in the previous session due to surprise fall in US crude stocks. Asian stocks rose sharply on Wednesday, led by tech stocks, while the yen remained mired near 34-year lows. US stocks closed higher as companies such as automaker General Motors reported strong earnings. E-mini futures for the S&P 500 rose 0.38%, while Nasdaq futures was 0.7% higher. The thousands of Argentines took to the streets of Buenos Aires on Tuesday to protest budget cuts for public universities. President Milei's budget cuts in Argentina have led to massive public protests amid an ongoing economic crisis in the country. The U.S. Senate passed a $95 billion foreign aid package allocating funds to Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan. The package has allotted $61 billion for Ukraine, $26 billion for Israel and over $8 billion to U.S. allies in the Indo-Pacific. China opposed Taiwan's inclusion in the 4-bill package passed by the U.S. Congress, urging Washington to refrain from actions supporting Taiwan's independence. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Shanghai on Wednesday for a visit amid unresolved issues in U.S.-China relations. The Israeli forces renewed retaliatory attack across Gaza almost 4 months after it announced withdrawal of troops from the region. Israel Defense Forces said it targeted Hamas rocket launching positions in southern Gaza following new intelligence information. Amidst the strikes, Israeli army ordered fresh evacuations in the 4 zones in northern Gaza's Beit Lahia, warning civilians they were in a dangerous combat zone. Now Israel has procured tens of thousands of tents for Palestinian civilians it intends to evacuate from Rafah in the coming weeks. Amidst reports of mass grave in the Gaza Strip, Israel issued a statement stating that bodies discovered were not buried by Israeli soldiers. The United States and Russia are set to clash over nuclear weapons in space at the United Nations Security Council on Wednesday. Russian airstrikes in Ukraine's Kharkiv injured 6 people and damaged residential buildings. Now, Russia has warned of further expansion of its buffer zone inside Ukraine if Kiev takes delivery of longer-range missiles from the United States that allow it to strike deeper inside Russia. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has announced plans to deploy RAF Typhoon fighter jets to Poland next year. Negotiations for a global plastic treaty began in Ottawa on Tuesday to address the issue of plastic pollution. Now, polling stations opened on Wednesday in the presidential election in North Macedonia, the country's 7th since the former Yugoslav Republic became independent in the 1990s. Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi arrived in Sri Lanka on Wednesday for a brief state visit aimed at strengthening ties. During his visit, the 2 countries will sign 5 memorandum of understandings. Australian police arrested 7 juveniles across Sydney in a joint counter-terrorism operation on Wednesday after the stabbing of a religious leader in Sydney church. Germany has arrested a European Parliament staffer on suspicion of spying for China. The police has called it an especially severe case. The staffer has been accused of giving the Chinese intelligence service information about negotiations and decisions made in the parliament. At least 38 people have been killed in Kenya as heavy rains wreaked havoc. More than 11,000 have been displaced in multiple affected regions. The Red Cross said it rescued 180 people countrywide from the floods. The Kenya Met Department forecast more heavy rains in the coming week and issued flood alerts. Finland welcomed the chilly surprise on Tuesday as heavy snowfall blanketed areas in and around capital Helsinki. The snow caused some public transport stoppages. The Finnish weather agency forecast light snowfall till Wednesday with sun and rain for the rest of the week. Tourists on the Greek island of Crete were alerted of a mock earthquake measuring 7.2 on Tuesday as part of a drill to measure quake readiness. Tourists engaged in evacuation drills while workers in West offered first aid to an injured woman in a tent. These drills are often organized in Greece. African dust from the Sahara Desert covered the city of Athens in Greece on Tuesday, making the sky yellow. People captured videos of sky which turned yellow-orange in front of Greece's parliament building. The dust caused limited visibility along with warnings by authorities of breathing risks. Rescue efforts proceeded in China's flood-hit Guangdong province on Wednesday. Rescuers in helicopters and on boats raced to evacuate residents trapped in the debris bulldozers cleared. The region was hit by record-breaking rains. Rains are expected to affect Guangdong for the rest of April as the province witnesses an earlier-than-normal start to the annual flooding season in May and June. In a swift rescue, Peruvian police aircraft airlifted a man trapped in a burning building in Peru's capital Lima. The man was taken to a local hospital. After nearly 3 decades of war, towns in Bosnia are celebrating peace with hundreds of blossoming cherry trees on streets and cemeteries. The cherry blossoms are a gift from Japanese humanitarian workers who have donated 1,750 cherry trees to several Bosnian towns since 2002. It is a symbol of peace and prosperity. Animal rights group Allied Scholars for Animal Protective have found a unique way to advocate veganism. It sells quote-unquote dog meat on a Manhattan street corner. The dog meat, however, is not actual meat but plant-based soy jerky. They attract shocked passers-by who then stop and engage in conversations with the activists. A new exhibition called Dien Bien Phu Historical Rendezvous opened on Tuesday at the Vietnam Military History Museum in Hanoi. The exhibition introduces more than 300 images, documents and artifacts showcasing Vietnam's military history through the years. Many artifacts are made public for the first time. The Hong Kong tram base will celebrate 120 years of its service this summer. The celebration will have a series of events in collaboration with various Hong Kong icons. Upholding a long-standing tradition, the Hmong ethnic group in Vietnam held a prayer ceremony for rain. The villagers brought offerings and engaged in song and dance to pray for favorable weather, a good harvest and prosperity. Engineers at Columbia Universities have developed IMO, a robot capable of mimicking human facial expressions. The researchers believe IMO is a significant advance in non-verbal communication between humans and robots. Young office workers in Vietnam are now opting to exercise despite their hectic schedules during office hours. There's a new trend of people carving time for mental and physical well-being. Activities such as yoga, gym workouts and dance classes, which typically last up to 60 minutes, are particularly popular. Cherry farmers in Japan's Yamagata prefecture are now using artificial pollination as their trees burst into full bloom. The method is helping farmers to produce high-quality cherries and deliver the tasty fruit across the nation. Russia is seeing a rise in the K-pop and anime culture amongst its youth. Anime festivals and K-pop dance groups are popping up across Moscow. Russia's borders with East Asian countries have boosted audience consuming their cultural content. People organize various K-pop dance competitions with prizes offering trip to the country as well. A 92-year-old man who survived the 1945 atomic bombing in Hiroshima in Western Japan has started sharing his experiences with young people. Saiki Mikyo gave his first lecture on Wednesday. He said recent conflicts around the world have prompted him to share his experiences about war and its nuclear consequences. Nominees for the 2024 Ivor Novel Awards are out. Musicians Harry Styles and Tom Odell are leading the nominations. Singer Ray is nominated for Best Album for pop record My 21st Century Blues. Harry Styles' song As It Was is also nominated. Late legendary musician John Lennon's 12-string acoustic guitar will go up for sale at an auction in May. The previously lost guitar was recently found in the attic of a home in Britain. The music icon's auction authority said the guitar is expected to exceed its estimate of $600,000 to $800,000. South Korea's largest entertainment company, HYBE, which houses K-pop superstars BTS New Jeans, has launched an audit into its subsidiary label Adore. The move came after an alleged attempt by Adore to become independent from its parent company. CEO Min Hee-shin was called to show up for the audit and return her assets in a now widely covered feud. Brazilian DJ and producer Alok is breathing fresh life to the electronic music scene with this latest album. The future is ancestral, focusing on indigenous songs from his country. DJ Alok's new album features centuries-old songs, folk songs of his tribe mixed with his dance tracks. K-pop girl group ITZY has embarked on their second world tour after their debut in 2019. The tour comes after the release of their latest album, Born to Be. The group will hit 18 countries across Asia, Australia, New Zealand, Latin America, Europe and North America this spring and summer. Indian golfers Aditi Ashok and Diksha Dagar are set to take part in the 2024 Paris Olympics. Aditi will compete for the third time at the Olympics. Indian cricket icon Sachin Tendulkar turns 51 today. Revered as the god of cricket, Tendulkar retired from the sport 11 years ago, and yet his influence and legacy continues to flourish. Delhi Capitals to face Gujarat Titans in the 40th match in fact of ongoing Indian Premier League later today in New Delhi. All-rounder Marcus Stoinis desires to play international cricket for Australia beyond T20 World Cup in June. Cricket Australia has dropped him from the central contract list. World number 2 Yannick Sinner can close in on Novak Djokovic at the top of the world rankings by lifting the Madrid Open title. Germany sets up International Police Cooperation Centre ahead of Euro 2024 soccer tournament as the threat from extremists and terrorists remains high. A late goal by striker Arkadiusz Milik sent Juventus into the final of Coppa Italia with a 3-2 aggregate win over Lazio. Arsenal thrashed Chelsea 5-0 to move ahead with 3 points in the Premier League title race, ramping up pressure on Liverpool and Man City. Ahead of Liverpool's match against Everton, manager Jurgen Klopp said Liverpool will have to do it without Diogo Jota, who has picked up an injury. Al Ain advanced to the Asian Champions League final after securing 5-4 aggregate victory in Riyadh. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Express News. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. and let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching Express News.